Yes, I watched the media encounter. As a catch-up program slightly, and I've read the various comments people have made. And I remember about the 120-day celebration they had, about some of the achievements they have made. I was invited at GH1 to make a comment about it. So I passed a comment that when it comes to galamsey, we are dealing with a corn government. And a lot of my NDC friends called me to say that I was too harsh. And I will still repeat those particular comments. We are dealing with a corn government as far as galamsey is concerned. And the gay bill, he didn't address it. Why do I say we are dealing with a corn government? You see, galamsey didn't start today. But when I got engaged with this debate about it on TV, I made a research about it. And apparently it even started before independence. And that the word galamsey simply means gather and sell. So after so many years of usage, then we got the word galamsey. That was according to where I read, where the name comes from. So the problem had always been with us for a very long period. And I saw how during Professor Atamel's time, it was an issue. And we tried to deal with it. President Mahama inherited it from Professor Atamel's. It was an issue. President Akufo-Addo inherited it. It was an issue. So this points to a collective failure to address it. And there was a need for us to approach it as a national issue. But leading up to the election, the NDC marketed it to the Ghanaians as a Akufo-Addo problem. I remember allegations being made that President Akufo-Addo himself is doing galamsey at his backyard. It got to a point that organized labor had to go on strike, went on strike because of this. And they met President Akufo-Addo to do negotiations about this area. And among the negotiations, the outcome of the negotiations that led to the calling off of the strike was that the president promised them that, look, currently Parliament is on recess. And if Parliament comes back from recess, there is a LI dealing with licenses of mining in forest reserve. Parliament will be called upon to revoke it. And then, among other things about this state of emergency, the NDC themselves were calling for it, that there is a need for a state of emergency. I listened to Honorable Ablakwa here, pointing to the necessity for a state of emergency. The information minister, the communication minister, I listened to him calling for it. And they said we're facing a problem of ecocide, the equivalent of genocide when it comes to human. That it was a threat. I recognize it to be a massive issue. So they use all sorts of words to market it. And then your Ghanaians rightly agree with you. And then it was just like it was lack of political will to deal with the problem. So Ghanaians gave you power. And when it came to the 120 days, nothing valuable was said about it. But then when you were in opposition, you marketed it that all that the president needed to do was raise a magic hand and the problem will come to an end. And then when you had a press conference,
yesterday,
you took a cavalier attitude to
yesterday, this matter came up again.
Okay.
The issue about what the NDC as a political organization,
yes,
what their position
yes,
on how to deal with galamsey
yes,
is,
yes,
and what some individuals who are members of the party also said.
Okay.
Now, who was yesterday? Yes, it was.
It is official.
No, the former Botiano English amount from MP. So okay. Started a slide. Yes.
Okay.
So he raised this issue.
Okay.
And Fifi Kwete,
yes,
the NDC General Secretary, yes, then sent us a message.
Yes.
And let me read to you what he said, just in response to exactly what you said.
Okay.
So let me, and then, you know, you are free to respond to.
Yes.
So this is what Fifi Kwete sent to me yesterday when he was watching the show. Where did I do it? Okay. So this is what Fifi Kwete says.
Yes.
Sam George, as an individual, can defend his personal views.
Yes.
JM and NDC manifesto would have pushed for state of emergency if that were the party position. That's what Fikwete said in response to what you said.
Well, he can express whatever opinion he has. So I remember when organized labor called off those strike.
Yeah.
There were a number of NDC that said organized labor members had been bought, that the state of emergency was necessary. In fact, the rescinding of the license in mining and forest research was one of the teams, the NDC. A number of them, I mean, I was meeting them in this platform, and galamsey was almost an everyday issue leading up to the election. To the extent that the president said, if Parliament come back from recess, they were going to be invited to resign it. And they said, no, the president doesn't need Parliament to come. The president can always do that. So if you marketed it as an issue, and you say if you have the opportunity, you deal with it, and you describe the problem as ecocide, I believe that would have been one of the primary things for you to tackle as part of your 120-day celebration. And then when they were celebrating the 120 days, I said it was too early to celebrate anything because most of the things they were talking about was low-hanging fruits. But when it comes to the heavy lifting, I have not seen anything. I mean, removing betting tax is a low-hanging fruit.
Okay.
The heavy lifting is galamsey. But when it comes to galamsey, you agree. Look at the cavalier attitude towards it. Lack of urgency, people can read into it. Or if you think you can't deal with that problem, apologize for some of the utterances you mentioned in the past and tell the Ghanaian this is a real problem. And if you need help from elsewhere, we can deal with it. And apparently, it's not even in Ghana we had that problem.
Right.
And a few years ago, Brazil had that problem and they managed to tackle it. Perhaps we can learn from some of these people. So if you market it, it's the way they marketed it when they were in opposition as an Akufo-Addo problem. And when we come, we will resolve it. And to say that, but it wasn't only the communication minister who was saying it. But almost every meaningful member of the NDC was saying it. And they now form part of the cabinet.
You know why? You know, at the time, the commentary about the galamsey menace and why it was blamable squarely on Kufuor, you know the context. The Professor Frimpong Boateng report. Then the NDC went to town with that report. Because it was made public to everybody.
And the video of party executives
and a video of party
discussing
galamsey. You know, so that was the context within why they felt that the president knew the people were doing galamsey. In fact, they went in his backyard and yet did nothing about it. So that's just to give you context to why those accusations were coming up.
Nevertheless, they made us aware, as my senior here have explained. I believe it's a serious issue. And if we do not deal with it, in fact, elsewhere, the report, United Nations report, have already said that future wars will be fought on water. You see that? And we ourselves are destroying it. Future wars will be fought on water. And if we ourselves is doing it, and you have a president approaching it with lack of urgency, when you made us aware that you were the right person to deal with it,
that's fine.
It's as if you have conned Ghanaian to get political power.
Okay.
But Moro, I mean, there's something which has been repeated so many times. And if care is not taken, it will be accepted as truth.
Right.
Galamsey did not start before independence. It's a recent phenomenon. I mean, this whole thing about gather and sell and so on. I'm told of stories where in some places, even after rains, gold was revealed and people could collect. It didn't involve the use of cyanide and other poisonous substances to extract. It didn't lead to the destruction of forests, you know, and the kind of health problems we are seeing today. Galamsey is a recent phenomenon. It's not an old phenomenon. Gather and sell is at a certain level, very, very low level, without the kind of environmental impact we are seeing today, without the kind of health impact we are seeing today. That story is told in order to normalize galamsey. Galamsey is not normal, it's abnormal, and it's a recent phenomenon.